Number 11. Number 11. Did you have your hand up?
I wasn't.
Go, Danny!
It's kind of a two-part question, but one is incumbents have a 98% retention rate regarding elections. I'm wondering what you were doing on a federal level to promote fair and competitive elections, particularly publicly financed elections. Also, as a kid, which wasn't that long ago, but I was told by the end of the 90s that we would have regional rail between Philadelphia and Schuylkill County to Philadelphia. Do you support regional rail more so than highways, philosophically, and when might I be able to take rail to Philadelphia?
I do support rail as opposed to highways for many reasons. One reason is the dependence on OPEC oil. Another reason is the environment, which the lady talks about, to get carbon monoxide out. And Ray LaHood's the Secretary of Transportation, and he came before the Appropriations Subcommittee, and the questions I asked him were all about rail. And one was the rail line from Philadelphia to Reading, and another was the rail line from Scranton to New York. Another was the rail line from Pittsburgh to the airport, and high-speed transit from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh. And you haven't gotten a rail line because we're trying to find a way to pay for it. The original line was $2 billion, and it required a 20% local match. And we could not get the local match. Then the local match went up to 40%. And that's why we cut it back, trying to use R6, which goes to Norristown, and then have another line, which we may be able to do for about $375 million. But this issue is as current as our hearing last week. As current as our hearing last week. And what date, I really can't give you the date. I got to deal with 99 other senators, 435 House members, and the federal budget. It's something I want very much, and the loudest cheers were right behind the young veteran up in the front. The loudest cheer I got tonight was for the parking lot on the Schuylkill Expressway. So I know how important it is. Your other question, what am I doing to try to level the playing field so that outsiders have a chance? I have sponsored with Senator Durbin legislation for federal funding so that we do not have this crazy money chase, and I do not have to spend so much time raising money and trying to eliminate the understandable skepticism that arises when people see senators and members of the House going after money and then voting on matters which involve people who are contributors. You read about what goes on Wall Street and how much contributions are made to this guy and that guy, and it's something that ought to be changed. I think I have one more question. Yes, sir, all the way up front.
Take the mic, Doyle. My question is whether or not you will work for, support the establishment of a commission or commissions to investigate the torture, deprivation of the citizens under the Patriot Act, and this American citizens, all of which now are deprived of a right to due process, rule of law.
I believe that all of those issues have to be investigated, but I believe we can do them with the Department of Justice. And this is something I've talked to Attorney General Holder about directly. Senator Leahy wants to have the commission. He calls it the Truth Commission. And Matt Leahy and Arlen Specter agreed on just about everything in our work together. But I've taken a slightly different position. What we have going on right now is an investigation by the Department of Justice, Office of Professional Responsibility, for the who wrote those memos which, in effect, sanction what they call enhanced interrogation techniques. And if it is found, and that investigation is close to being finished, the Attorney General was before the Judiciary Committee last week, and he was pressed to get it done. Action will be taken against it. Now, I agree with President Obama, who has said that if the CIA was acting on legitimate legal opinions, that they ought not to be prosecuted. If they exceeded what the legal advice said was permissible, then they have violated our laws against torture, and I think they ought to be prosecuted. And I believe that the President has the right approach on it, and I believe the Attorney General has the right approach on it. And we can get to the bottom of it, and we can find out if the lawyers were acting in good faith, and we can find out whether the CIA was acting on legitimate opinions within our current Department of Justice. And we have to be careful to do it fairly and to bring them to book if they were wrong. Mr. Chairman, I think I handled all the questions. Yep. Question is, if as a lawyer I gave bad advice I could be sued for malpractice, why should we treat those lawyers any differently? We should. We should. And right now there's an investigation which is being undertaken to see if they gave bad advice, or even more important than malpractice, whether they operated in bad faith. Malpractice is when you make a mistake. And if you make a mistake, you're liable for damages in malpractice. If you do something in bad faith and calculated to break the law, that's a crime. And those lawyers could be subject to criminal prosecutions. But a truth commission, ladies and gentlemen, is not going to prosecute them. If they're going to be prosecuted, they're going to be prosecuted by the Department of Justice. That's a field I have worked in for a long time. I was district attorney of Philadelphia for 8 years and an assistant DA before. And I believe in being tough when you deal with criminal conduct. But I also believe in being fair about it. So make an investigation and know what they're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just the beginning of a dialogue. I've been here to Berks County since I've been a senator 59 times, and I've been here a lot of times in advance, and I will be back. This is Brad, who's my political operative, who will be coming around talking to you about nuts and bolts politics. And Adrian is my gal who handles this area. We've always handled constituent complaints when somebody had a problem without asking whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. And I know you have a lot of constituent issues. And if the Senate's involved in it, if a citizen makes a complaint, it's at the bottom of the pile. If I send a covering letter over, it gets moved up. The best example that I have that I've never asked whether people were Democrats or Republicans is finished with a little story. When I finished my term as DA, I was riding down the elevator on the southwest corner, and I was riding down with my chief of homicide, a guy named Rendell. And I said, Ed, what are you going to do now? He said, Arlen, I'm going to go into private practice, and I want to get involved politically. And I said, oh, well, I'll introduce you to Billy Meehan. Billy's the chairman of the Republican Party. And Ed looked down at his shoes sheepishly. I'd had him for 7 years in the office, and he said, I'm a Democrat, Arlen. But you have constituent problems, let me know, and I'll be back. Thank you all very much. Thank you.